Hello, everybody. So here I am live, kind of without Ben, although he's in the background helping me, but attempting to do this flying solo. So wish me luck. So here I am. So you'll see the wheels turning in my brain. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Because I have to think about everything I do. So yes, Cheryl's with us. She sent me an awesome picture of her granddaughter for the Christmas card this year. That's always exciting, you know. With the I've been seeing a lot of that. Like a few people sent me stuff today, and just about enjoying the snow because there was a big snowstorm up in New England, and the holidays coming, and the Christmas cards coming out, and you know, I mean, I love my life. I do. But boy, wow, the memories of growing, you know, experiencing snow and Christmas in general with a young child. It's like it's amazing. Birthdays, like everything is new. You know, like when you've got a young child, like a lot of people my age are having grandchildren now. So I'm seeing all these pictures and posts lately of grandchildren, and it's just such a joy to see all that stuff. So it's nice not having the responsibility as a grandparent. I would imagine I'm not there yet, but you know, there's so much stress being a parent sometimes. You know, you feel like you're responsible for everything. So just the fact that hey, Sarah, just the fact that you get to just enjoy the kids with some less of the stress of being in control, and you know, teaching them stuff. Yeah. In hindsight, I was a little too much of a helicopter parent, and I really tried not to be, and I still was. So what can you do? But so here we are. So do you guys got any questions? Throw me some questions. What was the most difficult part of your spiritual awakening? The most difficult part of my spiritual awakening. Well, I'm just, you know, I'm kind of, what I'm getting is the initial spiritual awakening, or series of spiritual awakenings in like the first 3 months. You know, what was the most difficult part about that? And I think really it's a bunch of things that equal surrender or a complete surrender. And it's just like there is a level of surrender, and which can take other looks like commitment. In a way, it's kind of like effort. It's more commitment though, but it's taking it seriously, making it the primary goal in your life, bar none. That type of commitment level, the refusal to live another way anymore, and just giving it absolutely everything you have. I think that getting to that place is the most difficult, because like even today, nowadays, like if I'm in a place where I need to have more spiritual awakenings to go to the next level, that's what we'll call it for now. There's still times where I just put my heart and my soul into opening, So I think, and awakening, and I think as a general rule, I'm fairly good at that. It's just something I've done well a lot of times. And and I try and I dig deep and I really try to open and I really try to give my all to this spiritual awakening and all this stuff. And then it doesn't work. And I'm like, yes, but I'm giving it everything I have. And, oh, why? And you fall into this victim mode and all this stuff. And what it is it turns out that I wasn't really giving it everything I had. I was acting like I was giving it everything I had. And that can be difficult. That can be frustrating. I've done it enough times where I can usually, the thing that I trust is if a spiritual awakening is not coming, insights are not coming, I'm not opening, life isn't getting easier, whatever I'm trying isn't working, I understand deeply that it's my fault. Not in a negative way, just in a factual way, not in a blaming negative way. It's just, I know that it's my fault. Hey, Mary. Yeah, so if things aren't going my way in my life, I understand that it's my fault. Like, on one way, shape, or form. I am responsible for my own experience. I am responsible for my own life. And like when I am in alignment with the way the world works, well, I don't know about the world. Yes, it is the world. The universe is usually a better way to say it, because when we say the world, sometimes unconsciously we think of society, and society is messed up. So I don't try to align with society. I try to align with the laws of the universe, the laws of nature, the laws of the globe, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever. When I'm in alignment with the way things work, they pan out. When I'm resisting them, they don't. Or when I haven't gone deep enough. And when I'm feeling sorry for myself, that's a sign that I'm heading in the wrong direction, because that takes a lot of energy to feel sorry for yourself. So it's when I'm in the why me, and I still get there. It's just, I don't take it quite as seriously. I recognize that what I'm doing is, I'm feeling sorry for myself, and there's nothing productive about that. But I'm preventing myself from aligning because I'm caught up in the poor me mentality. So, when I see that and I can put it aside and say, no, man, I understand that you think you're open. I understand you think you're trying. I understand you think you're committed, but you're obviously not, because it's not working. So open more, want it more, make it, how can you really comprehend how badly you want this? How badly you want your life to get better? How badly you want to transcend whatever you're going through? How badly you want to find peace? Yeah, it's 32 layers deeper than you've ever been. And that's what's weird about it, is you think that you're trying, on level 31 and 30 and 29 and 28, and you get frustrated, and then you got to go to 27, 26, and then you get more frustrated, and you go, why me? I'm trying. And then you go, but eventually you get way deep down where it's not, I refuse to live like this any longer. And that's not in a suicidal way. I've been there too. It's not in a suicidal way. It's not, or I'm taking my own life. It's, I'm not living like this, period. There is no other or. There is no other alternative. That's why it can't be suicidal. That just distracts from where you're actually trying to get to. It's because you have an or, you have a plan B. There can't be a plan B. If you really want to transcend what you're going through, and you really want to open up to a deep spiritual awakening, and you really want to find peace and love and happiness within you, you need to go deeper than you've ever gone before. And to get there, there can't be a plan B. So that is I think, kind of the hardest part of a real deep spiritual awakening. It's just not getting frustrated and giving up. It's just and taking the responsibility of your own life and your own spiritual awakening, for that matter, onto your own plate, and understanding that as much as it looks like you're a victim, and as much as it feels like you're trying everything that you could possibly try, as much as every sense in your body and your brain and every thought in your head and every emotion in your body is telling you that it's not your fault and you've done everything that you can, that's not the case. We are not victims. There's not some people that can awaken spiritually and some can't. We are all divine perfection at our core. We all have the ability to do it. It's just going deep enough and wanting it bad enough and allowing it, So I think that's, my question, my answer for the hardest part about spiritual awakening. Mary says, took me so long to realize this, and I totally understand what you're talking about, but the hardest lesson in life for me, I still struggle with. Yeah, that's it. It's the struggle, this is it. But victim mentality is like a catchphrase right now. And because most people understand it, it's a sign of the spiritual awakening that's actually happening, is that people actually understand what victim mentality is now, which is wonderful. It's just misunderstood a lot, and it's thrown around. It's the same thing as drama. Like, everybody understands that drama is kind of bad, and everybody throws it around and goes, oh my God, I am not interested in that drama. It's like, just the way you said it means that you're getting into the drama. You said it dramatically. So people don't necessarily understand it fully, what it means. And there's a disconnect there, but it's a door. People are coming into spirituality through these doors. And Laura just joined us. Hi, Laura. So when we can come in through these doors of not falling into the victim mode and all this stuff, but we have to really blanket statement it. There can't be a good enough intellectual reason why we're a victim, because if there is, we will go to it. We will, this is why we can't have a plan B. If we can rationalize why we're a victim, we will always end up back in the victim, because it's a possibility. So that's what our brain does. So this is an example of how willpower doesn't work in a lot of situations, because we have, people lean on the willpower, use your willpower. And that's what we try. We try using our willpower to not be a victim. The reason that doesn't work is because it's assuming that we don't want to be a victim, right? So of course, when you're saying, oh, I don't want to, I know I'm no longer going to be a victim, at that particular moment, no, you don't want to be a victim. But when you start falling into the victim mode, there is a part of you that wants to be the victim, because it's easier and it takes all the pressure off of you, and it's not your fault anymore. And there's a subconscious part of you that really wants that you really want to go there. It's your comfort place. We've all lived there for so many years that even though that place sucks, it's ours and we're comfortable there. And so it's got to draw to get us there. So once your unconscious or your subconscious decides, I want to get into the victim mode, now all of a sudden your willpower will no longer work, because your consciousness is being driven by a will to be a victim. So all your mind power and your rationalization powers and all that stuff, all your willpower is pushing you to try to figure out how to be a victim. Because there's a part of you that really wants that. So that's why it's good to set blanket statements before you get into those modes. So before you get into a spot where your psyche is trying to drive you into victim mode, before you get there, when you're actually in good space and you're thinking clearly, you go, you have to intellectually understand why you are never the victim, why it's actually bad to believe you're the victim. Because, we think we want everything to be everybody else's fault. But if we got what we wanted and everything was everybody else's fault, or even some of the stuff was other people's fault, if we got that, then that would mean we have no control over our own happiness, and there is no peace or happiness for us to find ever, because we're not in control of it. So we don't really want what we think we want. We don't want to be a victim, because that disempowers us. The only way we are empowered is if we understand that we're never the victim. We can't be the victim. We must find control over, take responsibility for, and find control over our own lives and our own peace and our own happiness, regardless of anything. So once we get there, that blanket statement, when the victim starts trying to come in, yeah, but you didn't think about this. This is really bad. And this is obviously not your fault. Don't get into that argument with your head. You go, I'm not discussing it. I'm just not going into victim mode. Yeah, but it makes the most sense. I don't care if it makes the most sense. I'm not going into victim mode. I cannot go into victim mode. Yeah, but you should, because blah, blah, blah. And it's going to try talking you into it. And if you get into that conversation, you will lose. Because your mind knows you better than you know yourself. And it's been playing this game for 30 years, 50 years, 70 years. It knows how to talk you into it. So you can't get into that conversation. That's why blanket statements are good. Before you even get into it. No, when that starts, no victim mode, no matter what. So there. So I think I covered everything that I was that I was getting at that particular point. Everyday struggle not to go backwards. Yeah, Mary, I get it. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Hey, Nicole. But the struggle not to go backwards, it's temporary. That's what we have to understand. It's temporary. If we do, to the best of our ability, what I was just going through about going deeper and deeper and deeper, and never accepting any possibility other than it being possible for us to get to the peace that's within. If we do that, we'll find it. It's there. It doesn't have to be an everyday struggle. It's an everyday struggle because you haven't gotten there yet. Or, maybe you've experienced it here and there, but you haven't really landed in it deeply enough yet. That's the whole point of everything. I was an alcoholic for 20 years. I mean, the alcohol is a non-issue for me. That's recovery. Is when something is a non-issue. If you have an alcoholic or an addict that has to struggle to stay away from a drink or a drug every day, then you are not in recovery. You are in abstinence. You are not taking part in, but you are not experiencing recovery. Recovery is actually being removed of the obsession. It's a non-issue. And basically everything's like that. Once we transcend it, it's a non-issue. So when we're struggling with something daily, that just means that we haven't gotten to where we need to get yet. That doesn't, that's not an outlook for how life is. Life is not a big struggle. If it was, I would have checked out a long time ago, trust me. So we're trying to get to that place where it's a non-issue. And if we're not there yet, then we haven't gone deep enough yet. So what did Sarah say? Everyone I've ever known who says I hate drama is constantly bogged down with the drama. Well, I would agree with that. I would say 90% or at least 75% of the people who say I hate drama are logged into it. Like my son noticed this. My son noticed this in high school, because he actually understood what drama was, because we would talk about it his whole life, So he was, I don't remember how old, but maybe even 7th, 8th grade, 9th, 10th grade, something. There was a few times when he came home and he's like, oh my God, these kids, They're like, oh, I'm not into the drama. And he's like, that is drama. Like, they don't even know what drama is. Like, the fact that they're saying that they don't want the drama is the drama. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, well, good for you, dude. Wait, I'm glad you picked it out, So yeah, a lot of people who say it just don't. But like I used to get frustrated with all this stuff, like drama. And of course it's a little annoying, but I always remind myself that it's doorways. Most things that frustrate me are doorways because they're not deep spirituality. And I love deep spirituality because that's where the peace and the happiness come in. So if something is surface spirituality or pseudo spirituality, or it sounds like spirituality, when people are running around going namaste after yoga class and they don't even know what it means, it's like, that's a beautiful word, and we've trivialized it. That type of stuff is annoying. Just the fact that how much we've watered down yoga in the United States is a little annoying. All that stuff's a little annoying, but it's doorways into spirituality. It's people being introduced to a different way of thinking. Maybe they're not all the way there yet, but they're trying to come in the door. And that's what's really cool. And I try to remind myself of that. And, I try to remind myself of that and remind myself it's a doorway in. So maybe they're not there yet, but they will be. And thank you, Ben. I saw your comment. And I bet that that's what I was doing looking at it. So I'm going to try it now. I click on it and it appears. I was thinking it might work like that, but thank you, Ben. Melissa, and not being attached to an outcome, trusting that all happens for the greatest good, even if it's unpleasant. It's a chance to learn and grow. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Not being attached to an outcome is such a foundational spiritual concept that can be applied in like endless situations. So it's like, yeah, so, like it's not, so we'll apply it to what I was talking about earlier. We're saying, I was saying how we don't go deep enough to completely release out of the victim mentality and find that peace. So in that case, if see, the universe is smarter than you are, or God is smarter than you are, if that's what you believe. It's whatever. If you are trying to manipulate an outcome, it's not going to work because the energy is off and everything works off of energy. So if your energy is to manipulate the universe into getting you through a situation, and you go, oh, I'm going to go deep and I'm going to find God. I'm going to connect to my spirituality. I'm going to let go and I'm going to completely surrender. And in the back of your mind is going, so this stuff will clear off on the surface and the medical issue will go and the money will come into my life and my boyfriend will stop treating me like an asshole, or, whatever outcome that you're looking for. If in the back of your mind, that's actually why you're trying to surrender, it's not going to work because you're trying to manipulate, you're trying to use the system. And in the earthly world, that works pretty well, a lot of times. That's how I got through school. I mean, that's how I got through life. So as such a dysfunctional person, on the surface, I was very dysfunctional, but I was able to accomplish a lot of things on a surface level that looked fairly impressive in certain ways, and or at least just get whatever I wanted. And that was because I was good at looking at a system, understanding the dynamics of how it worked, and then manipulating that system to get what I wanted. I became very good at that at a very young age. I mean, I was doing that in elementary school. It was just like, by the time I hit high school, I was a master. I did whatever I wanted in high school, So, and I did it other areas in life. So, but that's manipulation, to get what you want. And it only goes so far and you can only use it in certain situations. And there is no peace there There's no happiness there. There's no peace there. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with manipulating external circumstances, which sounds good, but you run into a wall. I mean, I literally could probably talk for hours just on how good I was at that. I believe I was truly a master of manipulation and figuring out systems and using them against the system itself. I was amazing at it. And it still didn't work for me in the long run. I still ended up suicidal, drunk, destroyed my own life. So no matter how good you get at that, it doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you think you want, control over your external circumstances, or at least some of them. But that never works in the long run. It just comes back to bite you in the butt. There is no replacement for spirituality. That we live in a universe that is run by spiritual law, that is run by universal law. And there are ways to do things, and there is alignment and there's misalignment. That's it. And if we are in misalignment with the laws of the universe, our life is going to be a struggle, because the universe and or God wants us to be in alignment, because there's peace and happiness there. And that's what is wanted for us. So it can't reward us when we're out of alignment with the universal law. It can't. How would we ever find peace and happiness if we got rewarded for what we thought we wanted? Circumstantial control over our circumstances, our external circumstances. We think we want that, but if we got it, there's no happiness there, and we would never know how to find happiness or peace. So it's very important for us to, it's a commitment level. Spiritual growth is a gigantic commitment level. You got to want it. This is why, like in recovery, they say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah, that's when you're that's when you're getting close. And I know, I talked a little bit about myself, and I've seen it with many other people. When you're curled up in a ball, crying and dry heaving, and you just feel like you can't take it anymore and you just want to die, that doesn't mean you're at the end of your rope. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it means that you're feeling really sorry for yourself. And there's a difference between those two. And you could probably tell the difference between those two if you're paying attention to the thoughts that are going through your mind at that time. If you're curled up in a ball going, oh my God, why me? I can't believe this is happening to me. This is horrible. I don't deserve this. I've done everything I can. I can't. I want to find love. I want to find peace. I can't. And then you're feeling sorry for yourself, and I get it. I mean, I'm not saying that without compassion. I have compassion for people who've been there. I've been there, and it hurts and it sucks, and I get that. But me telling you it's anything other than self-pity is not going to help you find what you actually do want. And that's part of the problem. When people see other people suffering, most of the time they try to make them feel better. And how do you make somebody feel better? Like instantly, not in a deep, long-lasting, life-changing way, but on a surface level. Well, it's very easy. It's conditioned. You just tell them it's not their fault. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, yeah, that's not fair. Oh, yeah. See, and then they feel better momentarily, but you just reinforce that they're a victim. So there's no door out. There's no way. They might feel a little bit better in the moment, but they're never going to find what they're looking for, because you just reinforce the fact that they are a victim and they don't have control of their own happiness and their own peace. And that is how most people express compassion or sympathy or empathy to people, is in a disempowering way. It disempowers the person. So we have to get into the habit of empowering that person. Yes, I understand it hurts. Connect with them in their misery. I get it. I've been there. I understand it hurts. Yeah, it's no fun. I wish you weren't here, but you are. You want to discuss ways of getting out? Like, you got to start. Or if it's somebody in your family that's not even close to a spiritual awakening and doesn't like it when you hear that type of stuff, just say, I get it. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah. But don't feed it. I know, people say it to me sometimes, people that don't know me quite as well. They'll just be in a really dark place and they're just fishing. And they're like, well, Glenn's like loving, so I'll talk to Glenn. And they just start fishing for me to tell them that it's not their fault. And they'll say something and then they won't get what they're expecting. And they'll say something else and something else and something else. And they're just like, why isn't he telling me that it's not my fault? You can see the wheels turning, And I'm just sitting there kind of, I know they don't want to hear what I have to say, so I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to give them what they want either, and then finally they'll just drop it. And sometimes they'll just drop it and, whatever, that's the end of it. But sometimes they'll start finding their own way. It's interesting. They'll start, left to our own devices, we will find our way. Like everything that I teach and everything that all the other spiritual teachers are teaching is our natural way of being. It's like, this is how we are at our core. The reason that we are not in alignment with universal law is not because we don't know what universal law is and how it works. It's because we forgot how it works because we're domesticated to believe what society told us. So we just have society's rules stacked on top. That's all. We have, as we start moving those away and going deeper and underneath, we start connecting to what we already know deep within us. And it's just like when I say something, if I say something about spiritual law, that's an actual universal truth, and it goes right through all those layers, and you feel it click right here, and you go, oh, that really hit home. Like you have that feeling. If you pay attention, that's a bodily sense. It's not a mental thing. It's a bodily thing. That's where divine, we can access divine knowledge and what we actually know is within us. So like that is you remembering. So I didn't teach you anything. You just remembered something that you already know. It's just maybe my words triggered that remembrance, but it was you remembering. It was much more than learning intellectually. It was a remembering from within. So, that's something that, as much as I kind of talked about how difficult this spiritual journey can be, we have to remember that there's hope too. Like it's not, we're just remembering. We don't have to learn a whole new way of being. It's much easier to remember the way we were. So once we align, it's like all right there. It's like instantly. If you really align deeply, which is phenomenal. Like Beckwith talks about, I think it's in his movie, he's talking and he goes, don't worry about how many mistakes you've made in your life. Mistakes you've made in your life. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about how many times you've gotten it wrong. It doesn't matter how many times you've gotten it wrong, how many times it didn't work. All it takes is one time. One time, you just align, click, boom, you're done. That's it. My whole world changed in 3 months. So it's just that alignment, and it's boom. You can find that peace and happiness that's waiting inside of you. It's just that sometimes we're trying to, and the Tetris pieces don't fit, but then all of a sudden they do, and then there you go, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. Like I had a client tell me that a little while just recently. It's like, this is it. Like in a way, you work so hard to achieve it, but then when it happens, you're like, that kind of seemed easy. Well, why was this easier than I thought it was going to be? Because it is. It is in a lot of ways. This is the dichotomy of spirituality. In a way, you have to go deeper than you ever knew, so it's hard. But in a way, it's just a matter of allowing and aligning, which is fairly, and remembering, which is fairly easy. Those spiritual terms are non-effort words. Spiritual terms are allowing, remembering, aligning. Like, can you go into a corner and remember real hard? No, it implies non-action. You can't effort it into being. It's more allowing and opening and going deeper. It's a dichotomy. It's something that we've never experienced in the surface world, but it's cool when it happens. So yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, we're over a half hour, which that's par for the course. Yeah, do you guys have anything else quick that you want me to touch on? Did you like what I said? Am I full of crap? Well, I guess y'all liked what I said. I'll just assume the best. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Oh, this is my new, thank you, Tracy. Oh, let me click on it. See, I'm getting better. You're awesome, Glenn Ambrose. Thank you, Tracy. And Laura, right on. So yeah, this is my new office, by the way. I'll close with that. Those of you who are on video, and Melissa, so many valid points. Thank you, Melissa. So yeah, this is my new little office. I decided there was better. There was more reasons to bring my office into an official office than there was not to. So I'm using the spare room. So, or one of the spare rooms. So this is my little office so far. Hope you like it. I got on this side, I have Ganesha, Jesus, and what did I call that guy? LG for little Glenn. Life's good. My my bobblehead. Oh, I love the fact saying that I have a bobblehead. That just makes me laugh. It just and I'll just touch on these comments before I close off. If I didn't like what you said and thought you were full of crap, I wouldn't keep coming back for more. This is true. This is true. And Melissa says a lot to think about. Laura noticed the new office. Me, no more Faith? No, Faith is here. I left the door open a crack. You probably can't tell, but she can get in. She's just in the other room. And I even put her bed on the floor behind me, so she can be in here if she wants. She was in here while I was working a little while ago, but sometimes she likes laying on her bed out there. It's very nice, but missing a four-legged Faith. Everybody misses Faith. Great points. We appreciate you. Faith, come here. We'll see if she comes. If she comes, I'll let her say hello. But she might be like crashed out. Nah, I think she's crashed out. I won't bother. So Nicole says, great points. We appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys too. I appreciate you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys sharing this stuff. So that just made me think of something. One of my friends just made a good point yesterday, I think it was. There is lots of censoring going on, and it's going on many different levels, and it's going on in the spiritual arena as well. A lot of the logarithms and stuff with spiritual teachers are getting buried, and stuff isn't. I haven't noticed it happening with me, but I don't usually follow that stuff, quite honestly. So I don't know. But a lot of spiritual teachers are talking about how their stuff is not getting seen like it used to. The numbers are dropping dramatically from all this stuff. And, they believe it to be a form of censorship. So, what a lot of spiritual teachers are asking that people do is share, comment, interact, share with your friends, just taking a moment for your favorite spiritual teachers. If you took 15 minutes a week and just went to 1, 2, 3 of your favorite spiritual teachers and shared what they put out that week or something, even that would help. It's just getting it out there, because we need, this is a time of big shift. There's a lot going on, and things are either going to get better or worse. And we need positive food out there. We need people leaning in towards their spirituality and finding their peace and happiness, because the change we're looking for is going to come through love. And we need to be the change we wish to see. We need to be grounded in our spirituality. Then we'll see it reflected in our external circumstances. We cannot wait until the external world looks better and then all of a sudden expect us to be better. We have to be the change we wish to see. That's how it works, from the inside out. So we need to spread the spiritual messages, and these messages that can help people find the peace, love, and happiness within themselves, and emanate that out into our society. And then it will start reflecting, something different. So share. So that's what I'm going to leave it on. And Sarah says, preach. Yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And that's going to do it. And I'm sure I will be in your face soon. All right. Take care. And if I don't see you, no, it's only the 17th. I'll see you before the holidays. All right. Take care. Let's see. So I go to, I'm figuring this out. Bear with me.